What's up, y'all? Tonight, we are going to talk about Fauxpology. This is going to be a lot to get into, honestly. Just like I did the other day with the stonewalling video, this one will be a long video too. I don't know if it'll clock at 2 hours. So I'm just going to talk about it. I'm going to talk about what it is, how it works. I'm going to try to give some tips on how to avoid it. And it's serious stuff. It's hey, what's up? It's serious stuff, and it's honestly, it's a bit difficult to know where to start with this topic individually because of what it all is about, because and there's certain types of people who do this more than others, and when you're dealing with this problem, and it also seems like most people, especially with like in the Western world, and some other countries, like Australia. I don't know really. I'm not really good with countries, unless it's like a country I actually like, a lot. But Australia is pretty cool, I guess. But there's a lot of things I don't like there. But anyway, so yeah, so we're going to dive into this and buckle up because it's going to be a lot to get into. So basically what Fauxpology is it's a fake apology, obviously, and it's not a genuine apology, and it'll never be a genuine apology. Like, and it can also be used to, be used in politics. It can be used in public relations. It can be used in relationships. It's also used in people that are, within the church. So there's not really any place, like that I can think of, like over here, that it's not like, sorry about that, I opened the water. It's a very weird thing to do too. Like it's also something that somebody with no empathy does. Middle class actually do this all the time. I've never seen a middle class that does not do this, regardless of political affiliation. Yeah, so we're going to dive into this. There's a lot to get into. So, yeah, so another thing too is you can kind of, maybe compare it to like a backhanded apology, an empty apology, or fake apology. It's so some people call it a non-apology apology. But when they do it, they do not express true, genuine sorry or regret. They don't, and if they're not expressing those kinds of things, it's not it's not a good situation, because it can leave you very frustrated. It can leave you very angry, because you're sitting here, you're telling these people your feeling about what the said problem, that, you know, you're confronting them on, or, you know, and it's like, you know, all you get met with is a backhanded apology, you know, a non-genuine apology, you know, and it's just, it's honestly crazy, and, you know, it's not a good, it's not a good trait to have, honestly, because, you know, a person who does this, they do not have what you would call empathy for others. And that is one reason why the middle class do this all the time, is because they do not have empathy for others unless it is someone of their status. So, you know, I mean, like an example, I'll get to a lot of the examples here soon, but the first example I'll give you is, like, you know, when you tell them, like, something they said, you know, that wasn't cool, you know, that was actually wrong, that wasn't true or something, and, you know, they'll be like, well, I'm sorry if. Notice the key word "if" in that statement, you know. It's not genuine. You can tell by the way that these people talk. You can tell by the way of the tone of voice that they do not care. You know, they're not sorry for what they've done. You know, and when you're dealing with someone like that, you know, that like I said before, it can leave you highly frustrated. And, you know, I'll tell you another thing. A lot of narcissists do this too. So this does go with the narcissism and stuff like that. So, but we'll get into that here in a little bit. But another thing too is, like, you know, there's kind of like certain categories of, you know, like examples of Fauxpology, because, you know, there's one category, it's just like complete bad apologies. You know, it's like, well, sorry, you made me do it, or, you know, sorry, you're taking it in all wrong, or, you know, you're thinking about it the wrong way, or, you know, like that is a terrible apology. That is not an apology. That is, all that's trying to do is it's a form of gaslighting, and it's trying to put the blame back on you, because they're trying to put the blame on you for even calling them out. Because, and a matter of fact, you know, like, not only do middle class do this, you know, like, I mean, there's people in relationships who do this stuff too, like, you know, and we're going to get into that too, but it's honestly something I've dealt with my entire life, and probably almost everybody has dealt with this. Like, if someone says they've not dealt with this, I would probably think they're lying. Because, you know, I don't believe it, you know, because it's just so rampant. You know, it's not something that's, you know, rare or anything. It's something that's very common in today's society. And, you know, like I talk about all the time, people do not want to take accountability for their own actions. And, you know, you got to take accountability for your actions, because, you know, that's what growing, you know, as a person is. You know, you got to take accountability for your actions. And, you know, if you're not doing that, you know, it's like beating a dead horse. You know, it's not going to go anywhere, you know. And then there's like a category, like, you know, that's like, I guess you would call it non-apology, non-apologies, non-apology, non-apologetic, you know, something like that, I guess. And, you know, they'll say, like, well, sorry, I'm sorry if you were upset, or I'm sorry that they said that and you got upset, or, you know, I'm sorry if that's how you feel. And it's like, you know, that's not a genuine apology. And, you know, saying stuff like that, honestly, it's going to make people turn against you, to be honest. And, you know, it's just, most people are fake, you know, like, another thing, too, is, like, one thing I always say, you know, people, what they will do is, you know, they will hear what I'm saying on a lot of this stuff, and everybody else, you know, but one thing I mean is, when they do this, is the fact of, you know, they will hear when I say that most people are NPCs. They will hear that. They will agree with it. You know, just like everybody else that said that, they will agree with it. But the thing is, when they're doing their life and they're in real life stuff, they go and talk to these NPCs. They tell them their problems and stuff like that, and they do not care. They do not care. You know, they will give you some sort of Fauxpology is what they will do. And you know, you can't talk to, you know, people like this about, you know, stuff like this, because, you know, these people, they do not have empathy. And if a person does not have empathy, there's no point in having them around, you know. And it's just, it's a ridiculous cycle that just, I mean, it's been going through generation, and, you know, it's honestly really bad, because, you know, I honestly wish that this stuff would not happen, you know, and it does, you know. And oh, thanks, Jerry. Yeah, it's just, you know, another thing too is, like, you know, there'll also be like a minimized, like, is what I'd call it, like minimizing or I'd call it minimized, actually, more than I would minimizing, I guess. Is, you know, it was like when they'll say something, they'll go, oh, I was just kidding, or, oh, I was just, you know, like, you know, if you're not in the Matrix, you'll catch my drift, you know, you'll get what I'm saying. And, it's just, you know, it's crazy stuff. Like, it's honestly crazy. And then, you know, well, and I'll tell you, one of the worst forms of it is they'll do the shift the blame apology, like shift blame onto you, and they'll say, well, I'm sorry, you know, you think I did something wrong, or I'm sorry you think what I did was wrong, you know. And it's just, you know, it is ridiculousness. It's really ridiculousness. It's childishness. And, you know, it's not something to be proud of, you know. And there's actually people who's proud of this, you know, like I was talking about before. I know this person who, like, I was talking to them about somebody, you know, and, you know, how they had a hard life, and then they was like, oh, well, everybody's got a hard life. Okay, so right there, no empathy, like no empathy at all. This person was a middle class, no empathy at all. So that's the start of it. There is no empathy, and, you know, when there's no empathy, there will not be a genuine apology. It will not work. You know, it's almost kind of like the song No Apologies by Nirvana, you know, in a way, because it's just, basically what it is, it's the opposite of that song. Like, no, all apologies or something like that, I forget. But anyway, another thing too is, like, you know, they'll also say stuff like, you know, well, you know, I'm sorry if you felt hurt, or I'm sorry if I said something that offended you. It's like, you know, at this point, you know, like, you know, come on, like, you know, that is some of the narcissist stuff coming out right there. That is the Matrix. That is the narcissist stuff. Like, you know, and it's a cheap, lazy way you know, basically to publicly express false, fake regret. And, you know, a real person is not going to want that. A real person is going to want a genuine apology. You know, there's been times, you know, where like, you know, when I've said, you know, like something wrong to a friend or, you know, like a family member or something, it's like, you know, hey, you know, I was in the wrong for that, you know, I'm sorry, you know, stuff like that, you know, taking accountability for your own actions, you know, and, you know, a lot of these people, you know, they didn't do the same. They did not do the same when they did something wrong. And, you know, very few people that I know do this. They do that they're actually genuine sorry, you know, and it's just, you know, it's a big problem because, you know, there's a lot of people, you know, that probably actually don't even know this stuff. Like, you know, they don't know, you know, that it's a fake apology. They don't know that, you know, they're thinking, oh, you know, I'm sorry I hurt your feelings. You know, it's like, you know, oh, okay, you know, is there anything else you want to say? You know, it's like, you know, are you going to take accountability for your own actions? You know, but they don't want to, you know, it's, you know, but, and then another thing too is like, you know, if you'll do this, like, especially with narcissists and a lot of other people, they'll start going on about all this other stuff, like anything, and I'll tell you something now, like I'll give some examples. What they will do is they'll sit there and say, well, you know, I've been to therapy, you know, I've done this, I've done that, you know, I've read some books, you know, I've done this, I've got help, and, you know, I went to the mental health clinic, and you know, but here's the thing, if you notice in all of that stuff, you know, there's no real apology. There's no genuine apology, and there's also no accountability for actions. And, you know, it's like, well, are you going to take accountability for your own actions? You know, are you going to give me a real apology? And, you know, they won't. That's the thing. They won't do it. They refuse to do it. They are incapable. Dang it. They are incapable of doing this. They're not able to do it because they don't even mean it. So they cannot genuinely say, hey, I'm sorry, you know, and actually mean it. So, you know, it's, you know, it's more false. Like the non-apology stuff is more false than fake news. Like that. I'm not even joking. Like, you know, and false news is pretty dang fake. But you know, it's more fake than that. Like, you know, it's some of the fakest stuff out there. Like, you know, because, you know, if you can't sit there and apologize to somebody, you know, and actually mean that stuff, like, you know, what does that say about you as a human being? Like, what does that say about you as a person? You know, like, you know, it's not something to be proud of. And, you know, often too much, you know, like, I know in my case, you know, when I've had stuff like this happen, you know, it's just, it's really irritating. It makes you angry. It makes you agitated. And you get pretty annoyed. You get really annoyed because, you know, you're sitting there waiting for them to take accountability for their own actions. You're waiting for an actual genuine, hey, you know, I'm sorry. What I did was wrong, you know. Nope. Not going to hear it. You are not going to hear it. And, you know, I'll tell you this, give up on hearing it. Because, you know, if you don't, you know, you're wasting your time because you're never going to hear it. And, you know, another thing too is, like, you know, part of like the minimizing apology, you know, like I said, you know, some other examples of the minimizing apology, or minimized, how I would describe it, is like, you know, another thing they'll say is like, oh, you know, I was just trying to help. oh, you know, and oh, I was just playing devil's advocate, you know, and it's just like, you know, no, get that fake stuff out of here, like, no. It's not cool, it's not funny, it's not cute, it's not none of that. Like, it's agitating as hell, and, you know, none of us want to deal with that. Like, you know, if you're not in the Matrix, you know, the people that's not in the Matrix, we don't want to deal with that stuff, you know, because yeah, they do. Yeah, they do make excuses. Yeah, they do. That's like the short version of it. But you know, I'm not going to tell the short version. You know, I'm gonna call it out for what it is. I'm going to describe it for what it is. And you know, it's just another thing too is like, you know, how I was mentioning earlier, like with the shift the blame apology. It's you know, it's like, I'm sorry that you know, you get it, and then it's like, you know, I'm sorry that you think I did something wrong, you know, and then it's like, you know, oh, I'm sorry, you feel like I'm a bad person, oh, you know, and just no. No, that is not genuine, that is fake, that is fake, and, you know, and then another one they'll say is, oh, I'm sorry, you know, maybe you're too sensitive, you know, and it's like, you know, hey, are you going to take accountability? But, nope, they're not going to take accountability because they do not care, and it's just, it's ridiculous, you know, and it's just, it's really fake. It really shows how fake a person is. You know, there's no shortage of fake people on this earth anymore. You know, fake people are running rampant, and you know, I probably will do a video on fake people eventually. You know, because that's another topic that I could talk about, that I know about. I mean, there's so much topics that I plan on talking about on this channel. It's not even funny, but you know, it's just, it's crazy stuff, and it's just, it's honestly takes like some of the fakest people. Hang on, let me reply to somebody. I'm kind of sharing the gospel with somebody, so just kind of bear with me. Okay, sorry about that. I was doing this before I started shooting the video. I apologize. Anyway, as I was saying, you know, the whole thing is, oh, you know, oh, you're too sensitive, and you know, it's just like, you know, are you really gonna not take accountability for your own actions? Like, you know, take accountability for your own actions. Like, that's what I want. You know, I don't want none of this other stuff, you know, that you, whatever you're doing, I don't want the, oh, you know, like I know quite a few people that do that. Like when you'll call them out, or they'll do something, they'll put their hands in their face and go, oh, you know, like, it's just, you know, I don't want that, you know, nobody wants that, you know, and because they can't take, you know, criticism, you know, and I mean, there's a lot of things I can say that can't take criticism, but we won't get on that topic, but, you know, like, and how I was also talking about earlier, you know, the conditional apologies, you know, like a couple examples of that is like, you know, like the whole, like it even goes, I'm sorry I offended you. That goes with that too. And I'm sorry if your feelings were hurt. And I'm sorry if I may have done something wrong, you know, and their apology will be more hurtful because it's not genuine, you know, and they fall short of a full apology you know, it's pretty much suggestion, that something may have been hurtful. Like, they're not believing you, and then you also have another category that I haven't talked about yet. It's kind of like the deja vu apologies. And, the deja vu apologies is it's just them making excuses. It's just worse. So what they'll say is like, oh, I already said I was sorry, and they'll also go, I have apologized for that a dozen times or 100 times. That's what they'll say. And, it's just like, when someone is saying that, yet again, it's like, hey, are you going to take accountability for your own actions? But, they're not. They are not going to do it. They refuse to do it. They will not do it. They will refuse to acknowledge that they did anything wrong, because Fauxpology is really it is highly a narcissist. There's a lot of, believe it or not, most people, especially within the West, are narcissists. And, there's narcissists all over the world, but, I think America honestly has the worst problem. That, Canada, Australia, the UK, I think them places there honestly have the worst problem with narcissists. And, I've even seen, quite a big of a problem in Germany with narcissism, and there's no shortage of it. There is no shortage of it, and it's not cool, And then you got there'll be like some statements, that do not contain like an actual apology, but they'll kind of imply to them, oh, case closed kind of thing, kind of like, how like Judge Judy will slam down the mallet and be like, case closed or something, kind of like that. But no, it's BS. It's not an apology. They are not sorry. Don't fall for it, because, another thing too is like, they'll also use what's called like a phantom apology. And the phantom apologies, these are on a whole new level. Like they are, they're something else. Like, it's ridiculous. It's honestly ridiculous. And I hate Moon Knight. Anyway, what they will do, it's kind of like, regret is a feeling, but like apologizing is an action, and at the same time, telling someone, you regret what happened, that does not take any ownership or accountability into the said behavior. It doesn't, and that's why it's one of the worst, honestly, apologies, like type of fake apologies is. Because what they are doing is they're making you feel like they regret it, and it's like, it's very easy to deceive someone like this, if you don't know how it works. And, like, a lot of people do this one. And, that was a good shot on that Iron Man. Anyway, they'll say, oh, well, I regret the mistakes I made, okay, but, what about your actions? Are you going to take accountability for your actions? I'm waiting, and nope, not going to happen on that category neither. And, and then there's also another one. There's so many of them, honestly, but I'll go through all of them that I know. Another one, too, is like the whitewashing apologies. The whitewashing apologies are kind of very similar to the apologies I just talked about. They'll say things like, I probably shouldn't have done that, or maybe I should have asked you first. Like, that's not an apology neither. It implies that you shouldn't, like, it implies, you know, what they're trying to do is minimize any harm done to them by offering like a selfish posture without owning up to the consequences, without owning up to their actions. And, you know, like I said before, you know, got to take accountability for your own actions. And, they just won't do it. They refuse to do it. And, you know, it's just, it's just crazy because, you know, it's not going to get any better. It's really not. And these issues that I'm talking about, honestly, they'll continue to get worse. You mark my words on that. They will continue to get much worse. And that is one reason why I'm glad I'm not in the dating market. Like, you know, I understand there are some good, genuine women out there, you know, but, you know, finding them is like, you know, finding a needle in a haystack. You know, it's not an easy task. Like, it's extremely difficult. Like, you know, I only know one, like, you know, like what I mean by I know, I'm not talking about like know as in like, you know, all my like people from anime and stuff like that, you know, and the voice actors and stuff. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like that I talk to pretty regularly, you know, and you know, other than my wife, I only know one. And, you know, it's just, it's honestly ridiculous because, you know, and the same goes for men too. You know, there's not, you know, finding a good man is like, you know, finding a needle in a haystack too, you know, like, cause a lot of the good men, you know, they've gone into hiding and they've been hurt too many times. They've had everything stolen from them because of a woman, you know, and they're already done. Like, you know, and there's quite a few movements on this, you know, and I'll probably do a video on those too, you know, but like, I don't know when, but, you know, if that's something you're interested in, I'll definitely do it. But, you know, and, you know, it's like, as I was saying, you what? Anyway, it's just, you know, it's crazy, and I wouldn't wish this stuff on my worst enemies. I really honestly wouldn't. And it's just, I honestly wish that a lot of people would take, you know, better accountability for their own actions. And, you know, yeah, you just what I'm talking about. But like, you know, taking accountability for their own actions, you know, that can be a powerful thing. It is a powerful thing because, you know, it shows you're mature. It shows you know how to do things. It shows you know what's going on. You know, it shows you know how to do a relationship. It shows all those things and a lot more, you know. But, you know, these people, they don't care. They would rather lie and give a fake apology than to rather genuinely actually show some empathy. And I'll tell you why they can't show empathy. Now, you know, I'm honestly under the impression now that not all people are born with empathy. And I really mean that. Like, you know, a lot of people, they do not have empathy. And the middle class definitely do not have empathy. Unless it is someone of their status. I mean, yeah, sure, you can get some fake empathy from them. You know, yeah, you could get that. But, you know, I'm talking about real, heartfelt, genuine empathy. It's like, you know what? I've got some empathy. You know, I can help you. You know, I'm going to help you. You know, I have the funds to do it. I've got this and that to do it. But nope, you'll never see them do it. Nope. And, you know, what they'll do is they'll do, like, kind of small things, like maybe, like, give some money to a homeless man or something. that's not good enough. That's not good enough. You know, I mean, yeah, it's a good deed and all, but you know, a lot of them do it to, you know, because someone is watching. You know, try doing it when when nobody's watching. You know, try doing it then, because there was this one guy that I knew. He was on PlayStation, and this guy would send me videos of like him giving all this money to homeless men, and I mean just completely bragging about it. And you know, that means nothing at the end of the day, because you know God says, you know, being a cheerful giver is not like that. You know, you do it because of the Lord. You know, the Lord does not recognize good deeds like that unless, you know, they are, you know, done through Him. And, you know, yeah, while it can still be a good thing, it's like, you know, when you're bragging and boasting about it like that, you know, that is not, and I told him that. I told him, I said, well, you shouldn't be bragging about it. He's like, well, I'm sorry you feel that way, you know, like, no apology, nothing, you know, and it's just, you know, it's crazy stuff. Like, it's crazy stuff. And, like, you know, another thing, too, is, like, they'll also do this one category that calls, like, and basically what it is like, you know, it's the nothing to apologize for apology. You know, these apologies will always start with, like, well, you know, I... so-and-so, like, you know, I'd never hurt you, you know, I'm sorry, you know, I didn't mean that, you know, these imply that you shouldn't be upset and want to talk about your feelings. That's what these imply. And, you know, they try to talk you out of your feelings is what they do. That's what these fake apologies here do. You know, the nothing to apologize for apologies. And, you know, apologies like that, you know, I don't want them. You know, I don't want them, because, you know, it's just, you know, it's stupid stuff. Like, it's stupid stuff, and, you know, I mean, it's crazy. Hang on, I'm gonna see if I can just on the stream. Okay, anyway, but yeah, it's like, you know, the whole thing of like taking accountability for actions is like, you know, a lot of this stuff, you know, it revolves around not taking accountability for your own actions. And, you know, it's just, it's not something these people should be bragging about, but they do. You know, it's like, you know, you can tell they are very boastful about this stuff. And, you know, they also have another category, like, you know, I guess you would call it like, it's kind of like an invisible apology kind of thing. I guess, you know, like an apology, like, that's not there. Like, you know, it'll always start off with like, I guess you know, it'd be like, I guess I owe you an apology. I guess I should say I'm sorry. Okay, that's not genuine. That is fake. That is completely fake. Do not fall for that garbage. You know, these kind of things like that, they hint at the need for an apology, but they never offer one. And it's just like, you know, yet again, there is no taking accountability for actions. It's not there, and, you know, it's just, it's ridiculousness. It's ridiculous mess, and it's honestly stupid. But, you know, and then you know, it does get worse. It does get worse. If you thought these were bad, you know, wait till I tell you about the next set because this next step that I'm going to talk about is, I'll probably talk a little bit more about this than some of the others, but it is called the pay-to-play apology. And, you know, honestly, if these, in my opinion, are probably the worst, you know, the pay-to-play apology. These are probably the worst fake apologies that exist, in my personal opinion, because, you know, of what they say. You know, it's like, you know, well, I'll apologize if you will, or I will apologize if you agree to never bring it up again, or I will apologize, but you have to forgive me. You know, and what that is, that is a gaslight apology. That's what that is. That is a gaslight apology. And, you know, like I say all the time on this channel, no. We do not do that. We do not do that here. You know, narcissists are, you know, they are what you call transational, I think is how you say the word. You know, they're not clean apologies. They're freely offered. You know, their attempts, you know, to do them are like, you know, like a pro quo, what kind of thing. Like it's not, it's on, like I said, it is the worst type of fake apology I think is out there. I honestly, really, genuinely think that. Cause, you know, it should, that is a wrong, very wrong way to go about it. Like, oh, well, I'll apologize if you never bring it up again. And, you know, that's kind of like saying to God, like, you know, even though it says, the Bible says God forgets your sins as far as the east from the west, you know, that's like saying, you know, well, God, you know, I'll apologize for the sin I committed if, you know, you'll never bring it up again. Or, you know, but you have to forgive me, you know, when those things are already a free gift. You know, it's like, you know, another thing too is like, it's also like saying, well, I'll apologize, Lord, if you will give me $1 million. You know, like, no, just no. That is not an apology. It's fake, it's counterfeit, it's not real. You know, don't fall for it, and get this hawk out of here. Like, but it's just, it's honestly crazy stuff, you know, and also, dude, if you're still watching the stream, you can join me on this game if you want. I don't know if you're still on the stream, but anyway, these apologies, like the pay-to-play apology kind of thing, it's very destructive. I mean, extremely destructive, you know, because at the same time, you know, you're like, okay, you know, at the same time, it's like, you know, that's not genuine. That's not heartfelt. And, you know, like, you know, that's like saying, that's like saying, like, you know, another thing that's like saying too is like, you know, if you're like sitting here, you know, say you did something wrong, like, you know, it's like saying, well, you know, I'll apologize, you know, if you do this for me, you know, do that for me, I'll apologize, you know, and no, that is not an apology. It just is not an apology. It's some of the fakest stuff out there. Like, it really honestly, genuinely is. It is fake, and, you know, it's just ridiculous. And, you know, and the next quote, you know, is, you know, this is also a very narcissistic one I'm about to talk about. You know, this one is called the not my apology. The not my apology, that's what you would call this. Like, you know, this is like narcissists do this all the time. They'll send some third party to, you know, try to fix everything. Like, oh, well, my friend said I should apologize to you, Or, you know, my friend thinks I should tell you sorry, you know, or, oh, well, my parents told me to apologize to you, so I'm sorry, you know, but that's not a genuine I'm sorry. They're doing it just simply because they're being told to do it. They don't mean it at all. They're just kind of following orders, really. You know, and it's like, you know, yes. It's just, you know, it's ridiculous stuff, like, and then, you know, like these such apologies like this, you know, they suggest, you know, the person is apologizing only because someone else suggested it. And, you know, at this point, you know, you're left wondering if the narcissist even believes they did something wrong, you know, if you don't know about narcissism, because here's the thing, they did do something wrong. They did. You know, and it's just, these narcissists, and it's just crazy. And, you know, another thing too is like, you know, if you're saying that kind of stuff, you know, that shows how you really are. That shows a lot about your character, a lot about, you know, your personality and stuff like that. And it's just, you know, no, that's not going to, it's not going to get you anywhere, you know, and it's just not, you know, and I'm not sure yet. I'm kind of thinking about that while I talk about this topic. I'm not really sure. I'll let you know. But it's just, you know, it's another thing too is like there's also what you call a takeaway apology. And these are bad too. Like these are it goes in the same category as the last two categories I told you that were the worst. The takeaway apology, you know, is like, I'm sorry, but, you know, like there's a but at the end, you know, like, oh, I'm sorry, but the other people thought what I said was funny. Or, you know, I'm sorry, but you started it. Or, you know, oh, I'm sorry, but I just couldn't help it. Or, you know, something like that. And, you know, that's not a genuine apology. That is a fake apology as well. And, you know, the takeaway apologies, they can be worse than no apology at all, to be honest. Like, they honestly really can, because, you know, they add insult to injury is what they do, you know. And so basically they're kind of just like pouring salt on the wound is what they're doing. And like I said, that's a fake apology. You know, we do not want that. And, you know, there'll also be like blanket apologies, you know, one size fits all apology, it's also called. But I call it blanket apologies because that's what most people call it. But these here, they are honestly pretty bad too. Like, you know, because it's crazy stuff. Like, you know, when people act this way. But anyway, as I was saying, you know, man, I can't get this Jeff. Anyway, they'll say, oh, I'm sorry for all the things, you know, oh, I'm sorry for things I've done that upset you, and oh, I'm sorry for every bad thing I've done, or, you know, and it's like, you know, hey, that's not taking accountability for actions. And it's just, the way that these people think, honestly, it is sick. It's honestly really sick because, you know, blanket apologies such as those I just named, they kind of seek to wipe a slate clean, in other words, but they offer no indication. And, you know, they have... narcissists will say this, and they don't even know or care that if it's hurtful or not. They really don't. And dang it. And when they say that stuff, it's just it adds insult to injury. That's what I would say about that category. And then you got this one category. It'll be called like the fine, get off my back sort of apology. And these here are honestly some of the worst as well, because these apologies, they will be angry. They will be angry. They're not genuine apologies. They will be angry. It'll be like, fine, I'm sorry, okay. Or, okay, I'm sorry for, and then use Jesus' name in the wrong way and blasphemy. Or, they'll say, well, give me a break, all right, I'm sorry. Or, what do you want from me? Climb up on the cross, kind of thing. Like, those apologies there, that really shows a person's heartless character, because these apologies, they don't offer healing at all. These are like grudge apologies. They're kind of like the person's holding a grudge. And, and oftentimes they may even feel like threats, like to some people, so these are not genuine apologies. They are not genuine. And, I will tell you this. I'm not going to go through every single kind of it because it would just take so long. I'll split it up again, but in contrast, like a true apology by contrast, will have like the characteristics of like, they don't contain conditions or minimize what was done, No, they don't mean it. Yeah, that's exactly what I just said. They do not mean it, and It also, when a true apology by contrast, it shows that the other person apologizes and understands and has empathy for the offended person's experience and feelings. So say say maybe you've done said something like, say you said you hated somebody, like someone in your family member said, oh, I hate you or something, and then they give you a genuine sorry, like, hey, I'm sorry. I feel really terrible about it. I'm just having a hard day. I didn't really mean that. I mean, that's still stuff that I hate you is really bad to say, but they're taking a step in the right direction by giving an apology like that, and a lot of people don't do this, believe it or not. They don't. And another thing too is it also will show remorse. That's another thing, when it comes to Christianity, God is not fooled. God knows, if you're sorry or not. He's not stupid. He knows. He knows all. So, he knows in your heart if you're trying to hide something. He knows if you're genuinely sorry. He knows. And he'll know if you have genuine remorse. He'll know it, because Jesus he does not care about fake apologies. God does not care about fake apologies. And, God wants genuine, taking accountability for actions kind of thing, and leaning on Him. That's what He wants, and it's similar in contrast to a human being, but, nope, they won't do it. They refuse to do it, and it's very sickening that these people do this stuff, and it's just ridiculousness, honestly. And crap, I did not even see that Black Widow there, no joke. Anyway, crap. Another thing too is they'll offer a commitment, kind of to avoid repeating the same hurtful behavior in the future, and that's another step in the right direction, from by contrast, a genuine apology. Right, exactly. Yes, I was just about to say that. Like you said exactly what I was about to say. Genuine apology is admitting they screwed up, and will do whatever it takes to change and fix that issue, and not to do it again, and that's another thing, and these types of apologies are very often, said in relationships, it's sad but true. They really are, and another thing too is it offers to make amends and provide a restitution when appropriate, and if you can't do that, it's just not. We're gonna lose this. It's just honestly ridiculous, But yeah, to apologize, one needs to honestly hear what happened from the other person's point of view, how it affected them, But narcissists are not interested in this. They are not interested, and the only thing they care about is themselves, and what they can get out of somebody, if they can use somebody. Stuff like that, and they are living in the matrix. They are part of the matrix. They are part of the problem, and like I say all the time, we do not conform to the matrix. We don't. We do not conform, and it's just no, and it's like, and honestly, therapists will even do stuff like this with some of those categories I just told you all about. Like, they will honestly use a lot of those kind of things, to sit there and tell you, and it's like, no, another one too that they'll do is like I'll try to give you a couple more. They'll also say like, oh, I'm sorry, but I'm right. And or like, I'm sorry if I didn't do it correctly. It's like, no, you didn't do it correctly. You did not take accountability for your own actions. You didn't do it correctly, and that is not that is not how you apologize to somebody, and it's ridiculous, and people like this, honestly, they're part of the problem. What's wrong with humanity? And another thing too is like if you say like a bad joke or something, like maybe like a very inappropriate joke, they'll be like, oh, I'm sorry, but other people would have understood it was a joke. Other people would have laughed, and no, some people that they do not like certain type of jokes. I am one of them, and it's just, it's ridiculousness, like there was this one time, somebody was joking about like autism people, and I was like, dude, I'm gonna leave the chat right now, because if I don't, I'm gonna say something I'm gonna regret. I'm gonna say something that is gonna be a sin against God, and I'm gonna have to leave the chat. And because I did not like the joke, and another one they'll say is, oh, I'm sorry, but there are two sides to this story, and or, oh, I'm fine, happy, are you happy now? I'm sorry, kind of thing, and or oh, fine, I'm sorry, are you happy? Yet again, not a genuine apology. That is an apology saying, hey, can you shut up? I don't want to take accountability for my own actions, so shut up. Here's your stupid apology. That's it. No, that's not an apology. It's not an apology at all. or they'll also say some other stuff like like, oh, I'm sorry, but I'm not the only one to blame here. It takes two to tango. Or, you know, I'm sorry, but I'm not the only one responsible. Or, I'm sorry, but you played a part in this too. Now, that last one I just said, I've heard so many times, it's not even funny. And yeah, they are good examples. Yeah, I mean, I'm just, you know, speaking pretty much. But, you know, it's just... It's not it's not funny. It's not cool. It's ridiculousness. It's honestly ridiculousness. And you know, another one too is like, you know, and you hear this one a lot. It'll go, oh, I was just kidding, and then they'll say God's name in vain, and then they'll say, can't you take a joke? Like, you know, I was in a Discord server one time, and I've never talked in this Discord server. No, it was like I just joined it. And I joined it, and, you know, they didn't even know if I was a girl or a dude. Like, they didn't even know. And, you know, somebody just randomly said, hey, dude, I'm going to have to ask you to leave because you're making the ladies here uncomfortable. And I was like, you know, like, what the hell do you mean? I just joined the server, and how do you know I'm a dude? Like, I could be a woman for all you know. And no reply, no answer. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to leave. I'm just not going to deal with this crap. I'm not going to deal with drama. The whole drama thing is of the Matrix. I don't care nothing about it. And it's just, you know... That's one reason why I don't join Discord servers, because it's a bunch of immature people, you know, that are just want to joke around, meme around all the damn time. They're never serious. And just know, I don't want to associate with people like that. I don't. And, you know, it's just, it's stupidness. It's honestly stupidness. And, you know, just like you were saying a while ago, you know, those are really good examples of non-apologies. And, you know, I mean, I'm not probably the smartest person. I mean, there's probably somebody who's dealt with it a lot more than me, you know, like somebody older. But, you know, I'm just kind of like, you know, trying to give like certain like situations and scenarios, you know, like, but, you know, another thing too is like, you know, I even told a person, like, you know, one time, you know, I was talking to this Japanese guy on my PlayStation, and, you know, he was like, you know, oh, well, I don't speak English. I texted him back, you know, I put in Japanese. I was like, you know, hey man, it's cool, you know, it's whatever. I can use Google Translate if I have to. It doesn't bother me. You know, and, you know, we was talking and whatnot, and I still have this guy on my friends list, you know, and he's a pretty cool guy, you know. But, you know, never have I once ever heard from him these kinds of apologies like that, you know. As a matter of fact, because he will apologize, like, if I say, hey, man, I'm a little sorry, I can't read all this, I'm still learning. I can either put it in Google Translate to translate to English, or, you know, this, or, you know, or whatnot. And, you know, he's like, it's all good. He's like, I'm sorry. I'm like, no, man, you're good, dude. You're good. Don't apologize. Like, you know, but the thing is, though, he gave me a heartfelt apology. It was a genuine apology, and he didn't even do anything wrong, you know, like, so it's just like, you know, that's the kind of stuff that this stuff is dealing with, you know. And another thing too is like, oh, I was just trying to get you to calm down, you know, or I was just trying to be helpful, or I was just trying to get you to see my side of things, or I was just explaining myself, you know. You know, people, these are half-hearted apologies, and fake apologies aren't sorry, and, you know, that's the hardest part to grapple with this whole scenario, is they are not genuine. And the apologies that you want more than likely will never come from these people. And it's some of the hardest stuff to accept, you know, but you got to forgive and move on, you know, and, you know, do it for you. You know, don't give them power over you just because they're stupid and didn't say sorry, you know, like they should have. You know, cut them out of your life. You know, show them you're not sorry for cutting them out of your life. That's what you should. Since they're not sorry, you show them you're not sorry for cutting them out of your life. That's what I say. But you know, it's just these people. A lot of people are rude, you know, and like, I mean, go to, hang on, I'm trying to get this, dang it, she healed. Anyway, yeah, they're half-hearted apologies, and, you know, it's ridiculous stuff. It's ridiculous stuff, and, you know, but, you know, it's just, I wish people would honestly take accountability for their own actions. I know they're not going to, you know, but, hey, at the same time, it's like, hey, you know, gonna take accountability, like, you know, because, you know, if you can't take accountability, like, I just don't want to talk to you. You know, I don't. You know, and but, you know, another thing too is, like, you know, there's also like a justifying apology. You know, like, and basically what that is they will try to justify themselves and say, oh, well, I did nothing wrong, you know, or it's like, you know, yeah, you did. Sorry, I got the hiccups. Sorry, yeah, you did. And, you know, that's not going to work, you know, and but yeah, you know, it's honestly ridiculousness. It really is. Because, you know, if someone was genuinely sorry, they would not be doing this stuff. You know, like there's even like some people, like I was telling you, like they'll send some third party. Like, you know, there's even some they'll say, well, my ex told me to apologize to you. And it's like, you know, nope. That's no. Not gonna happen here, you know, and but that's the way it works, you know, and they do not care. They do not care, and but that pretty much concludes it for that section of the video. I will say, you know, a lot of people in the church do this too because, you know, they're filled with middle class. And middle class are very bad about all these things here. I have never, like, if something like that does something to me or somebody else does something to me, this stuff here is what I mostly hear. I very rarely hear something like this if it's someone over here in the West. So it's like, so it's like, what do you do about it? You got to confront the problems. You got to confront, the issues. And, if you can't confront the issues, it's just, it's not going to work, because they do not care. They honestly really do not. And, yeah, I know you wouldn't. It's just, at the same time, like, what do you expect? Like, from these people? if they're not going to do it. You know, don't sit around, hang around, trying to, you know, try to get some like apology, because more than likely you're not going to get it. You know, and here's the thing, pretty much 99.9%, if not 100, you won't get it. You know, so you might as well just cut your losses and move on, because it's just not going to happen. And, you know, if you want to sit around and kind of wait around for that to happen, then, you know, it's just, it's not gonna, you know, it's not really gonna affect you in the long run. Like, what I mean by that is, like, it's not gonna, it's not going to, it's not going to really matter in the end, you know, because if you're cutting these people out of your life, you know, like you should be, it doesn't matter. But, you know, those examples I gave, you know, it's a really crappy apology stuff. Like, it's really crappy stuff, and, you know, these people who do this stuff, you know, that they are not, they're not sorry for anything. They're really not. They don't know how to be sorry for anything, because they've never been sorry for something. And it's just, you know, at the same time, you're sitting here thinking, you know, like, well, what the hell? Because, you know, obviously you'll deserve an apology like this, you know, and then, you know, in a relationship, you know, like if a woman's doing this, or a woman's man's doing this, or you know, just someone like a friend or acquaintance is doing this, a family member, you know, like, you're going to want a genuine apology. You're going to want one. And, you know, a lot of times, I will tell you this, you know, for forgiveness to take place, you know, you gotta have taken accountability of your actions. You know, you gotta have that, because if you do not take accountability for your actions, then that healing process can't begin. The forgiveness stuff can't begin, because, you know, I believe there's different levels of forgiveness, and, you know, that's a video for another day. There obviously is different levels of it. You know, forgiveness in its purest form is taking accountability for your own actions, kind of stuff, you know, and you forgive them, you know, kind of like, you know, how you do with God. You know, that is the most genuine kind of forgiveness there is. But, you know, you'll also hear stuff like, well, you know, if you forgive them for your, you know, forgive them for yourself, you know, do it for yourself, do it for you, you know, and, you know, yeah, that's all good and everything, you know, I'm not saying it's not, but, you know, it's, you know, you're still going to think about it, you know, like, because, see, here's the thing, like, let me hear this Iron Man, yeah, it's like, you know, another thing too is, like, you know, you'll notice, like, a lot of stuff, you know, even in Disney movies, like, I'll use this for an example, like the newer ones, you'll see people do this stuff, like, and some of the old ones are like this too, like, you'll see them do Fauxpology, all in it, like, you'll see it, you know, so even the kids are being brainwashed by it, you know, so it's just like, you know, even the kids are being taught to do this kind of fake apology. And, you know, I always say all the time, a lot of these movies are really not for kids, to be honest. Like, you know, like Shrek and Madagascar, I grew up watching that stuff, you know, and now as an adult, I can tell you now, that stuff is not for children. It's not, that stuff is for adults to laugh at. Like, I'm not even joking, like, it really is, because, you know, if it wasn't, you know, then why do they got all the stuff in there? But, you know, anyway, that pretty much, you know, concludes this topic of Fauxpology, I guess. I'm not going to run this stream for 2 hours, you know, on this one topic. I mean, I probably will probably start up another stream and maybe talk about some games or something, you know, if y'all be into that, you know, and I've done that before on this channel, so, I mean, but, yeah, that concludes this video, I guess. You know, I don't really have anything else to say right now about it. So, I mean, I hope you enjoyed the video because, you know, I do have fun making these, and I do have fun bringing awareness to this kind of stuff. Because, you know, a lot of people don't know what the stuff they're getting into is, like this stuff, and, you know, when they're met with it face to face, you know, it's like, you know, they honestly genuinely don't know what to do, and, you know, if you tell them, you know, all the stuff, you know, beforehand, it becomes easier to know what to do, you know, and if you genuinely, you know, apologize to somebody, you know, if that's you, if that's you, hey, you know, I'm glad you do it, you know, and don't start going all fake apology either. Like, you know, keep doing it for the good. Oh, I just got Hulk smashed. It's just, it's crazy stuff though, so, but yeah, that pretty much concludes, all that stuff, so, yeah, you know, God bless you all, and, you know, hope you all are doing well, and, you know, if there's any other topics, you know, that you would want me to talk about, then put it in the comments before I do end this video. You know, that way I can kind of write it down somewhere or something. That is if I know about it, you know what it is and stuff. But yeah, it's just, you know, we'll end up getting through it, you know, and this stuff, it can be beat if you're out of the matrix. It honestly can, you know, because, you know, people that are not in the matrix, they don't do this type of stuff, and it's just, you know, it's very, you know, freeing and stuff to be out of the matrix, you know, because we serve God, we don't serve the matrix, and, you know. But, you know, anyway, I'm gonna end this video here. So I'll see you all in the next one, and y'all have a good night. I will start another stream here in a minute, so for those of you that are watching right now, you're free to join back. I'm pretty sure you probably will, Cherry, but anyway, yeah, so I'll see you all here in a minute.